In terms of those two worlds, the secular world and the church world, where's your strongest relationship at this point, honestly? Where's the greatest strength?
You know, that's a good question, Jim. I don't know if you, like, depends how you measure it. If you go by dollars, where the money comes from, almost without a question, it would be the church.
Right.
Right now, we have 507,000 children being sponsored by Canadians across Canada. I mean, that's tremendous credit to this nation. And those are largely individuals in churches right across the nation. Now, there's funding that comes to the government. There's projects and major fundraisers, and Sarah McLaughlin, Tom Crockett, all these groups will raise funds because they believe in the cause. They may not hold our values, but they're happy to contribute towards it. So in a sense, that becomes the icing on the cake. But the foundation really is those individual
And how do you
sponsors.
manage the dynamic tension between the two? Because from time to time, the church culture is going to see World Vision as embracing too secular a partner. On the other hand, the secular culture is going to be a little nervous about the Christian element. How do you achieve the balance?
You know, it's basically one by one. I mean, it's individually. It depends on the individual situation, the individual circumstance, but it's a tough one. It is not easy.
No.
And in fact, just the other day, I was working with our president, David Toyson, to respond to a letter to a donor who said, you know what, that very thing. I think you're not Christian enough.
Right.
And those are tough issues because, yes, we are Christian. Our staff all have to sign to Christian values, a doctrinal statement that probably your church or mine would agree to. So there's no doubt about that. But on the other hand, you're right. You do have the artists who come along and say, well, as long as you're not preaching while I'm on the platform, you know, that sort of thing. Well, of course we wouldn't, and that's not our purview at all.
And what about the government funds? Are there any caveats, any conditions vis-a-vis proselytizing, which is the great fear word, or being unbalanced in terms of your religious stance as you apply those funds?
Well, in our organization, we do not declare ourselves to be proselytizers.
Right.
Now, there are other agencies, in fact, some of our own World Vision agencies in other part of the world, who do not have access because they go under the pretense of proselytizing.
Right.
Our purpose is to meet social needs. As a byproduct, as we put our hands and our feet to meeting needs, we find countless opportunities for people to rise up and say, well, why are you doing this? And we have the opportunity on their request to share our faith. And we've seen whole communities come to Christ. It's been amazing what we've seen. But that is not our primary focus. Our primary focus is meeting the physical, social, emotional needs of those poor communities, the children, families. And then if the opportunity comes to bring in our faith, just like any other situation, you're welcome to do that. But that is the secondary rather than the primary. For some, that creates a concern. Some would rather say, you know what, we'd rather sponsor kids who go to a church, who belong to a church, who are going to raise in the church, and so on. And that's fine. I would just simply say, my Lord probably would have come and ministered to them all. He would not have said, now just a second, are you prepared to follow my 12 disciples? If you are, hey, let's do it. No, the Lord would say, just come one and all, and I'll just feed you all.
Well,
some will become believers, some will never.
Yeah, he did say, suffer the little children to come unto me, no qualification. Forbid them not, for such is the key. You realize how honored you are to be working with a guy like Dave Toyson.
Oh, amazing.
I mean,
amazing,
in my
man.
view, he's one of Canada's leading Christian statesmen. I have nothing but respect and regard for him. What are you learning from Toyson?
Oh, he's just a great guy. I see him as a coach, as a mentor, because he has been in this virtually since his college days, from Australia to U.S. and Canada for the last, close to 20 years. He has really turned World Vision into what it is in Canada. He's positioned it extremely well. Some days I look at him and I say to myself, Dave, I don't know how you keep up with it. I don't know how you manage it. But he's got a sense of connectedness with what God's speaking to us as an organization and as a world in terms of the priority of needs. And then he's like a dog with a bone. He goes after it. Yeah. If he's going to get a birth certificate for every kid in Kenya, he'll bring every other agency on board to accomplish that goal. And it's great to work.
As you sit with him and others in leadership there at World Vision in this new position as National Church Relations Ambassador, what's your preferred future? What's the best case scenario over the next 5-10 years?
For the next 5 to 10 years, I would love to see an even greater impact in meeting the needs of the world. The model we use is rather unusual and kind of unique to World Vision. We actually find a community that is desperately in need. It takes about a year and a half, and we will pull from that 2,000 to 3,000 children who we ask to have sponsors. Once that's done, then building on those sponsorships, we raise funds for projects, and over that period of 10 to 15 years, we can literally make that community completely self-sustaining with everything, from water to secure food, to agricultural practices, to health clinics, education, micro-business, it goes on. And the neat thing about that is that we've got about 252 of those going right now around the world. And to see the changes in those communities, I'm asking God for more of those communities. I'd love to see us double that number of communities. I don't know whether God will do that or not, but that's what I would love. I'd love to see just a massive expansion of that. And the only way that's going to happen is if churches, denominational leaders, the average person watching this program will simply say, you know what, I can make a difference. All it takes is $35, or if I want to sponsor a child with AIDS, $40. And you know what? What an amazing opportunity. Yeah. So that's my heartbeat, even though I'm not into the formal stuff of raising the funds and all the rest of the stuff. That is what I'm representing as an organization.
You've got a special project in the works. Tell me about it.
Oh, we got a unique project coming up. Tony Campolo is, of course, well-known sociologist from Eastern University. And Tony was with us and did a taping here in February of 6 15-minute segments. And they're being called the Red Letter Christians. Tony has taken the Gospels and he's saying, you know what, we've spent so much time in the epistles, we've ignored the Gospels. It's time to come back and look at the actual red letter words in your Bible and mine that Jesus spoke, the Beatitudes in particular. And he's put together 6 15-minute segments, and these will be with an interaction guide and available for small group discussions, for one-on-one, just for your own enjoyment. Because Tony's such a fascinating guy. You know, Tony pulls no punches. I mean, he just does it. Yeah. And so that's going to be called the Red Letter Christians, and it will be released this September. And I'm sure many of your viewers may very well have a great interest in that initiative as well. And so,
well, Don Moore, you have taken on a great new challenge with a wonderful organization, National Church Relations Ambassador with World Vision Canada. Thanks for coming our way.
Well, it's been a delight. Thanks.
Terrific. And we'll be back with more right after this, friends.